Okay, perfect.
All right. Hi, Neil. How are
How's it,
you?
Quinn? I'm good. How are you this hump day?
It's going to be hump day every Wednesday, I think, from now on. So yeah, this meeting is being live streamed as we speak.
Awesome. So what are we talking about today?
Yeah, great. Yeah, good question. Because we need to talk about the things that our audience want to talk about, right? One of the first things about online marketing is to not do what you want to do, but do what your audience wants you to do. So what people I've asked about is, what's really the difference in terms of doing personal training in person or online training? Can I just do the stuff that I've been doing for the last few years and just kind of do it on Zoom and then I'm an online trainer?
You can, and then you can call yourself an online trainer, definitely. But the trap that you've fallen into there is you're still trading your time for money. Well, that's the way I see the big trap. What other things are? Actually, I can think of another thing. At least if you go into Zoom training and just swap your in person with Zoom, you at least don't have the geographical restrictions anymore. You can train people like if I'm in Cape Town, I could train you in Joburg, which at least it makes my reach further.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't, we overcome the problem about the location, but we still have the same issue about time, right? You're still spending the same amount of time with the same amount of people that you're training.
So the trick is, how do I get the value of what I'm doing across without sitting and regurgitating the same information to say 20 people that maybe all have the same goals or all have to have like a similar sort of plan? How can I train all those people and not spend like if it takes 20 hours to do 20 people, how can I not spend 20 hours doing 20 people?
Yeah, that sounds like something we need to do. But does that then mean we just create YouTube videos so that people would may by accident find you on YouTube and start watching your stuff and train with you on YouTube?
Well, you can't really train with someone on YouTube because you are publishing the information without getting any feedback. So it's not a very personalized thing. And in order, as my experience, in order to do well on YouTube, you need to get a lot of views because the way that you get paid by YouTube is in ad revenue, meaning the ads will only be valuable for YouTube to pay you ad revenue if there's a lot of people watching what you're doing. So if you are an influencer, if you have a big channel and you've got a lot of subscriptions and people are regularly watching your videos and not just watching, it's not even about clicking anymore and watching like views. It's about the length of time that that person is spending on your content. So if you've got a good production, if you've got good content, and if you've got subscribers, then yes, you can earn a lot of money from that kind of model. Like you're making one video and then potentially 50,000 people can watch it. And then you can earn ad revenue off of that. But to get to that point, there's a lot. I mean, YouTube is incredibly competitive, and you have to have a lot of know-how. You have to understand how the algorithm works. People's production levels are upgrading pretty much like daily because it's such a sought after business model. But there's easier ways to break into the market and not sell your time for money than being a YouTube sensation.
Okay, all right. So being a footfluencer is not as easy as it looks. Um,
I can definitely confirm this. After last weekend, I was doing I basically did the weekend takeover with Cape Town Magazine, which
yeah.
means I took over their Instagram account for a weekend and I got to post as them. And it was a lot of work. It's like you have to know what like you have to schedule things. You have to know what you're going to bring out. You have to have a timeline. It has to make sense. There has to be a story behind it. It's not simple. It's a lot of effort, and it's not just on the fly. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You have to like you have a content plan. You have to it has to make sense.
Well, I'm very impressed. I mean, I'm talking to somebody that's famous. You're on the Cape Town Magazine. Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, I know. Instagram has got like 200,000 followers. So
Wow.
I
Okay.
potentially was seen by 200,000 people last weekend.
All right. So we've unpacked what is it not that if you're doing online training, what is not the best way to go? What is if I'm starting from scratch? Okay. So then what is the alternative? Well, how do I get started in a simpler way and not trading time for money? Like we said, if you're just simply swapping out your in-person for virtual coaching, are there other ways to do it?
There are, and if you already have a client base, and if you maybe already doing, let's say, Zoom sessions, I would definitely not advocate like all of a sudden just like swap into a different model. I would advocate doing it as a hybrid. So keep the sessions that you're already doing, seeing people in person, keep the maybe Zoom clients that you have, but then make space in your business to explore another way that is it's still a realistically small enough step that you can earn money out of it like almost immediately. But it's also something that we call scalable. So
Ah,
being a business being scalable is that magic word. And the way that I'd advocate doing that, because I've been doing this for more than 5.5 years, is app-based training,
ah,
app-based personal training.
okay, because you with an app-based training, you could basically duplicate yourself in a way and be in more places at the same time. Is that the idea?
Pretty much, yeah. So you are taking what you know, you're putting it together in a little package where someone can have access to it wherever it suits them. So if that person's in a different time zone to you, they can access it whatever time of the day. You might be sleeping when they access the information, but they have access to it whenever they want. So even if they're on the same time zone and that person wants to train at 4 o'clock in the morning, you don't have to be awake for the actual information to be accessed, because you've packaged it in a way where it's a step-by-step process of all of your knowledge that you've put into a smartphone app. That, I mean, nowadays pretty much everyone has a smartphone device, and even if they can't afford data for it, they can connect to Wi-Fi, and in that Wi-Fi zone they are able to look like access the information that you've set out for them.
Okay, that sounds very cool. Because in essence, I think the key to all of this is that we don't want the PTs just to be service providers. Because if you're a service provider, you basically are an employee. Even if you work for yourself, you are self-employed. It means you putting in the time and you getting the money. And there's a cap on that, right? There's only so much hours in the day, even though with dedicated PTs that get up at 4 in the morning and go to bed at 10 at night after training people. So yeah, I think that's the idea, is to become more of a business owner rather than an employed person or a self-employed person or a service provider as such.
100%. And I didn't even know about this, whether this was possible, until I actually got into the personal development space, where I was introduced to books such as Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I can honestly say that that book changed my life and my perspective on how business can be done. And it literally teaches you lessons about what is possible in a business sense, in a very like manageably easy way to understand, because it's told as a story. It's literally told as, this is the story of what my dad. I had two dads growing up. I had one dad that was called my poor dad, who worked for money, and I had a rich dad who didn't work time for money type of thing.
Mm.
And he puts it together in a very, very easy way. It's an easy read. There's no technical terms, and every term that is actually is thrown out there is explained to you as well, so anyone can understand it. And really just pretty much talks about how the rich invest their time and money into building assets, where the poor put money into their pockets. It's that, if I could sum it up, that would probably be the best way that
Yeah,
I could do. And they define what an asset is. So an asset is something that puts money into your pocket.
yeah,
So yeah, it's that book completely changed my life,
yeah.
and I would highly recommend it to anyone that would like to get out of the hustle and bustle, or the rat race of what they like to call it, where you just trading
Yeah.
straight time for money? Because I think you have quite a good story here yourself, Quentin, where you were in the upper tier of like a business, for example, like a CEO level,
Yeah.
if I know, but in
Yes.
essence, you were still trading time for money, weren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, during those days that, I was in the corporate world for many, many years, and I worked hard to get to the position where I was, and gradually climbed the corporate ladder. And it was great. Every month, you get your salary, and every now and then there's an inflationary increase, and then you get a promotion, and your salary keeps going up. But it's always not cut out what it's supposed to be, because 5 years ago that all came to an end when suddenly I wasn't necessary anymore in the business, and at the position of CEO I was made redundant. So suddenly that income wasn't there anymore. But it was always something I've thought about, is that I knew it was dependent on somebody else, and my destiny was in somebody else's hands. And I knew I had to create something that I could take that control back. And that was kind of the kick up the backside for me, to do that, and to actually start taking control of my own life, even though I was forced to do it. And that's when I went into the whole digital world, because I knew that was kind of what the trend was and where things was going. And to your point about Robert Kiyosaki, about creating assets, that's what I had to figure out, how to create assets. And I knew, people were talking about creating digital assets, and I was like, what the hell? What's a digital asset? And
Yeah.
and basically all it is creating content that you could sell through a virtual way. And there's the fitness industry is actually such a good fit for that, because you could create digital assets through your knowledge, through your skills, by using great tools like the app that you referred to. So yeah, it's an exciting journey. Is what we'll teach you in our course, is we focus on making sure that you create digital assets, and then on the other hand, you're also creating an asset out of the audience that you're building up over time. I know that's not something that happens overnight. It's not a get rich quick scheme, but you build those two assets up over time, and they create sort of a multiplication effect, and it helps you to build a massive business over time.
100%. Thank you for sharing the story with us, Quentin. I think a vital part of the story, I think, that you left out was, or what happened on my side, I'm going to share with you as well. But I mean, you were retrenched at one point, so it went from, I mean, from CEO position, you were retrenched. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's right. Yeah.
It literally went from, I'm getting my salary at the end of every month. Things are going well. I've got my increases. I've got bonuses and things like that. And you
Correct.
can literally go from that situation to not worrying about any of the debit orders that need to go off, or any like financial expense. Obviously, if you've done your budgeting correctly, to how am I going to pay for groceries?
Yeah.
It can
Oh
literally go
my
like
goodness.
that.
No, absolutely. And I laugh about it now, because luckily it was 5 years ago, but it was tense. It was a very, very stressful part of my life, and it was tough to overcome. I talk now about how that helped me sort of transform myself into and reinvent myself. But at the time, it didn't feel like I was doing something wonderful, because it was just survival mode.
Yeah, survival mode is not fun. I've actually got a similar story. Obviously, it didn't have probably as much impact um, on me. I mean, going from, I don't know how many years exactly in the corporate world, but I got this fantastic position I got a fantastic opportunity to go live and work in Dubai.
Oh, wow.
And because things there, I mean, still, this was back in 2013, and Dubai has always been a big booming. Until I actually got into the personal. Oh, you're watching the video in the background. I've Dubai has always been like a big. It's booming. Like there's a lot of growth going on there. So I went from going in there as a fitness manager and growing very quickly to a general manager position. So I was the
Right.
general manager of 3 gyms that were open. They were opening up a fourth, and we had over 2,000 members. And they gave me a really, really nice package. I had my salary. I had a car that was paid for me. I didn't even have to pay for petrol. So I had this nice little package, and earning tax-free money was also really, really nice.
Yeah.
To the partners stopping their, like they weren't agreeing on things anymore, and they had an agreement where if one put in money, the other one had to match. Otherwise, everything kind of froze up. And long story short, the gym lost its trading license, and I lost my visa, and I wasn't able to actually return back. So I went from this nice cushy position, this apartment in Dubai, set salary coming in, to nothing. Literally, I went from from black to white. And that for me, and it's what you said earlier, struck something in me, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to become a business owner. Was I wanted to have, if things were going to go wrong, I wanted it to be my responsibility, and not because like the actions or what, like the decision of someone else to just be like, okay, cool, like this is not happening anymore. And it's completely out of your control. Yes. So even if things do go like everything explodes, I'll feel like I'm okay with that, as long as it was because of my decision or what I've done, and not that something that someone else was doing that you have no control over.
Yeah. And Neil, I think because it's so close to the heart of both of us, that, I think that's something we have in common, is that we're passionate about sharing this with other people and helping other people make this transition, or maybe they're already in the process of making the transition, and just giving them a sort of a blueprint and a road to success that they can follow, and getting to being an online trainer, getting their online training set up as quickly as possible, start earning that income from the asset that you're creating, and having something to grow for next year, for the next 10 years, that you can grow and scale as big as you want it.
100%. So I just want to kind of get this out there to people, that it sounds like, obviously we're not going to glamorize it, but we're talking about all of the benefits of being your own boss and owning a business and things like that. It's not an easy process. There's a lot to learn. You do need to know that it's something that you have to focus on. But I think the reason why you and I are so set in doing this and have overcome so many hurdles already and continue to overcome hurdles is because we have a very strong why. We know exactly why we want to build a business. We've had that dreadful experience of something happening to us where it shone a light. There was a lighthouse shining a torch on exactly what could actually happen, and that gave us a very, very strong why. So another thing to mention, that in our course, the thing that we start with before we teach you anything else is and this is content that I got from you, Quentin, Simon Sinek's the why. Why do you get up in the morning? Why? And he goes into the process of people don't actually buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And this, I'm hoping that us sharing our stories can also kind of get that across to people, and just know that you have to know why you're doing this, in order for you to get to that outcome, in order for you to push through some of those pain points. And there's going to things that you're going to have to do that are quite uncomfortable. One being, a lot of people don't like the sales process, because you put yourself out there in terms, like, you put yourself out there in a place where someone can say no to you. And we don't like to hear no. We also don't like to feel judged. We don't like to feel like we're asking like people that we know to like buy things for us, that we're the salesperson. But yeah, like those are just examples. But if your why is strong enough and you're doing it for the right reasons, then you have the potential, and you in the ballpark of being able to get to this position of these benefits that we were talking about. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, because that's an important part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'd be very exciting. We're starting the course on the 29th of September. And it'd be great if some of you watching this could just get in contact with us. We could give you a little bit more detail about it, what it's all about. Or you could go to our website or join the Facebook group if you're not in it yet, and just kind of sort of see what it's all about. We got the learning plan all mapped out. And yeah, it'll be great to have some of you guys there on the 29th. So you've got 2 weeks to get ready for that. So get in touch with us so we can get you set up.
Yeah, so the registrations close on the Monday, and then the course will start on that Wednesday. But I think it's the 27th will be the cutoff date. So there is a little bit of time pressure over there, but it's pretty much exactly what Quinton says. Like we're going to teach you pretty much everything you need to know about how to become an online trainer. We're going to teach you not only how to find clients, we're going to teach you how to train the clients as well. So that's the mixture of information that we're going to be giving you. And then we're going to be there to walk you through the process, because there are going to be those hard times, like I explained, where there's going to be something that you're uncomfortable doing. It's normally because you've either never actually tried it, and like you don't know what it actually entails, but we're going to give you all the information on how to do it. And then we're also going to show you examples of for example, me doing it. So I give firsthand examples and information on all the course material that we teach in, and I can also discuss with you, and we can talk about the roadblocks and the things that make it a little bit difficult, and then we can overcome those together, because I'm human exactly the same as everyone else. The only reason that I'm able to do maybe all these things is because I've learned how to do them, and then I've actually done them. So sometimes you just have to rip that band-aid off and do things a couple of times. So for example, these live videos, in the beginning, it feels weird, and you're like talking to your screen, and like, I don't feel myself. And I did it more. I set myself a goal of doing more and more live videos, and now
you're
I was actually very proud of myself I went live on the Cape Town Magazine account. I spoke to their social media guru lady, and I was like, can I do a live video? And she's like, I mean, you can, but no one really ever has done it. So, I mean, tell me how it goes, because because other people haven't utilized that thing, because it's a nerve-wracking thing in the beginning. And then you do it more and more. And I did on Sunday, I went live on their feed. Like sometimes there was over 100 viewers at the same time watching me, which is more than I've ever had on me at one single time. But I didn't actually feel nervous, because I had done it so many times before that it was just like, okay, there's more people watching, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm talking to my phone, and I'm answering questions. And if I had done it for the first time, I probably would have botched it. Completely botched it. I would have been so nervous. So many people, first time doing it.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, absolutely. So the other thing I got to mention about our course is that we are doing coaching. So it's actually live interactive sessions that we're going to have. You can watch some live or some lessons that you could watch on recordings that we've done, but we will be doing once a week live calls with us, where you can ask us anything you want, and we'll hold your hand through the process. But because it's live coaching, that means we don't have unlimited spots. Otherwise, we're going to neglect some people. If there's too many people on the call, we can't answer all the questions. So we are going to limit the number of spots that we can take in. So make sure you get your position in the class.
Yeah, get on the course. Obviously, before all of the spots are all taken up. But what I'm going to do in this video is, after this live, I'm going to post a link to a link to a YouTube video, where we give you a full breakdown of the course. We speak in detail about how it's mapped out and everything like that. And then in my personal feed, I'm also going to link you guys to the Facebook group, because we're sharing this to the group, but I'm also going to give you a link to the group of where we share information, where we've got like a community of people that are trainers that would like to take their businesses online, and we all share information then. It's a nice little community. So I'm going to provide those two links. I think, Quinton, do that on your side as well.
Sure, will do. Cool. All right. Well, that's it. We promise to keep it short. We're not sticking to our promise.
When did we promise to keep it short?
I don't know. Anyway, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it and got some good information anyway. And take the bull by the horn. Start your online PT course. Not PT course, but online PT training today. All
Yeah.
right.
I hope you see you on the course, guys, at the end of this month. Please join us. You won't be disappointed.
Great. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Bye.